Sneak peek one of the March update is here. We have new building levels, new troop levels, new pet levels, but more interestingly, we have an all new pet, the Sneezy, and we're going to show you how to use it. Let's have a look at some of the new levels. Now, obviously, the boat is not one of them. That is not applicable here. But we'll start off with the monolith. Remember upgrading it with Dark Elixir, and that is a nice upgrade there. Finally, it will be on theme with the Town Hall. You also get 2 superchargers for all the defenses you see today. There is the Builder Hut. Pretty standard level for the Builder Hut. In case you're wondering what that gets to at the max level, here we go. All the way up to 2050 hit points and 172 damage per second. Now let's jump over to the Multi-Inferno, and this is a pretty nice upgrade, and it also looks sick. Love the look of the new Inferno level, and there it is for the Multi-Infernos. In case you're wondering what the damage is on a maxed out Inferno, there you go, 150, so it gets an extra 10 with your supercharging, and there you go, a little bit more with the single Inferno. Obviously, you all know how I feel about the superchargers. It's kind of making the regular upgrades pointless, but what can I do about it? Now we move on to an interesting one. 5 extra troop space. So we're going to get all the way up to 340. So all your army links are going to have to change. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we put an army link on most of our videos. We also get an upgrade to the Dark Barracks. I guess you'll just have to see what the troop is for that tomorrow. Then we also get an upgrade to the Pet House, but I can show you this one now because we get this Sneezy. And it's essentially an air pet. Now, we have needed another air pet. There's not enough air pets in the game with the Minion Prince. And this one is very interesting. So it just spawns out these coughs, essentially, maximum 2 at a time, and they go out in front and they tank. Now, they can't pull Seeking Air Mines, but they can pull red bombs. So it'll be interesting to see if people start using these with Queen charges, Warden charges, or even on your Minion Prince during a dragon attack. We also have some new levels, so we got a level 7 Yeti, so this is an extra 200 hit points, an extra 20 damage per second. This is going to be very interesting because Yeti bombs are already reasonable in the game at the moment, so will we see more cloned Yeti bombs? But this is the big one. We get a new Hog Rider level, so it gets an extra 120 hit points and an extra 12 damage per second. But obviously, it's not just the Hog Rider that gets a new level. It's also the Super Hog Rider, which is now getting an extra 100 hit points and an extra 20 damage per second. But obviously, it's not just that. You also get new hit points for the Super Rider, so it's extra 50 hit points, extra 20 damage per second. And then we also get more hit points and damage here. I think it's an extra 50 hit points and an extra 5 damage per second for the Super Hog. So a Super Hog's finally going to become meta. There's also a new level to the Golem and a new level to the Ice Golem, but I mean, who really cares about that? The Unicorn will also get another 5 levels, and I think this will make people start using it again because that heal is really nice and the extra hit points will definitely help. So let's see the Sneezy in action. Before we get into that, obviously going to start off with a Royal Champion charge here with the Electro Boots and the Haste File. In fact, I'm just going to 2 times through this because this isn't really what you're here to see. You can see that it does take a little bit long against these new level defenses because, you know, there's a lot of extra hit points on the base, particularly because so few people in the main village have all their defenses with the superchargers at the moment because who's had time to get them all done, and somehow we're still getting new defensive levels. I have no idea what this pacing is from Supercell, but oh well. Alright, so we set a nice funnel. Dragons coming on the top side. That was a dreadful giant arrow and siege barracks, and now we've got the Minion Prince, and that's what I've got the Sneezy on. So the Sneezy sitting back here, and you can see, have a look at this here, right? Once you have a look at this blob, so this blob is in front. It is the closest thing to the monolith, and the Seeking Air Mine avoids it. So you need to keep that in mind. It's not going to pull Seeking Air Mines. That's what your troop's going to do. But it is tanking the scatter now, and the Sneezy is essentially an infinite tank. Now, is it a very good tank? That's a whole other thing, because as you can see, and you'll see throughout these replays here, it is extremely slow. Particularly the blobs that come out, very, very slow. That was a poorly timed Warden ability there, rip my Minion Prince. but it is very slow, so it does take them a while to get to the front. You can see even this one here on the gold mine, just moving so slowly. All the other troops outpace it. So there is a definite weakness here. Really nice Dark Orb. Unfortunately for this base, we have way too many troops up. Did the Sneezy help? I have no idea, because one of the weaknesses, particularly for those of you who use the Phoenix with the Royal Champion, is you're kind of forced to use the Jelly on the Minion Prince because you have the Owl on the Warden. There's no other air pets, and that's the biggest benefit of this Sneezy. If you use the Phoenix on your Royal Champion charge, and then the Owl on the Warden, obviously, you now have a viable pet that's not going to put your Minion Prince at risk. You really don't need the Jelly on the Minion Prince when it's a mass drag and attack. It's just going to get the Minion Prince in front and taking a Seeking Air Mine to the face. So it is good from that aspect, but is it that strong other than convenience? I don't really know. Figured I'd show you guys a mechanic with the Sneezy here. So obviously Minion Prince is incredibly low, ability goes off, and then you're going to see here, so the Sneezy doesn't attack. All it does is spawn in the blobs, but as soon as its hero goes down, it's kind of like the Yak. Then it will attack. Now, obviously, it's going up against a lot of damage here, so it looks quite weak, but it can actually 1v1 an Inferno, so pretty reasonable pet once the hero goes down, but obviously, we don't want that happening at all. Possibly the biggest pro for the Sneezy is what you're going to see right here. The Sneezy with Warden charges. Now at the moment there's really two main options for Warden charges. You have the Jelly. Now that is high risk, by the way. If you saw that Dark Barracks, look forward to seeing you tomorrow in video. Anyway, you can use either the Jelly, but that is risky because you are going to have to use more spells. You get to your Fireball more quickly, but you're also more likely to lose your Warden completely. Or you can use the Frosty, or I have seen some people use the Lizard, but I think the Frosty is the next best one. But I think this Sneezy here is going to make a pretty solid alternative, because look here, the Sneezy outranges the healers just. You can see based on the shadow here, it is just longer range, so that means that it's never really going to get targeted at all, and it's going to sit back and spawn infinite tanks for your Warden. Now, they can go ahead and pull the CC, particularly if it's an air CC, so you have to keep that in mind. But essentially, you just have constant tanks. And have a look here. That I need to remember what the actual technical term for it is rather than calling them blobs. There is actually a name for them. But they can go and help versus those multi-arch towers. Now, it's not helping a lot now, but look at this. We got this next one comes in here, and it's just tanking. And does it need to tank for long? No. But it's just constantly throughout the battle, and the pet's never going to go down. Whereas the Frosty does go down kind of quickly. The Unicorn goes down quite quickly. And obviously, so the Jelly, after the first 30 seconds, goes down quite quickly. Now, this hit ends up going close, because for some reason, I've got this hero equipment on my King. Not really sure why that's the case. Anyways, we're going to focus on the Warden though, because that is where the Sneezy is here. And this Warden is just lasting forever and ever here. Now, obviously I'm doing a good job keeping it alive, keeping him alive with the spells, but I think the Sneezy just very passively helps throughout the battle. Now, are all the blobs going to be useful? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what? Whilst we've got 1 second here, I'm going to look up the technical term for this because I'm making a meal. Snotties! Oh, I prefer blob. I prefer blob, honestly. But have a look. That blob goes ahead and pulls the tornado trap. So there is definitely some benefit. It's now tanking this fire spitter instead of the fire spitter, well, doing exactly that. Now, this hit ends up getting close. It's probably because my Royal Champion is stupid and for some reason just ignored the defensive Royal Champion. And the Giga Bomb does go off here. Obviously, I'm doing this hit with 340 troop space, which does make a world of difference. You can bring a couple extra rocket balloons. But we are able to get the 3-star here. And I think you're going to see the Sneezy used pretty consistently with this army. I mean, how are you meant to take down the healers? Now, obviously, Seeking Air Mines can take down the healers, so make sure you put down Cocoa Balloons. But red air bomb farms? No. The Snotties, sorry, the blobs are going to do that all for you. That's it for this video. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. You already have an idea of what's coming. But the real question is, would you like to see a specific level 14 Super Hog video showing you how to use this in the meta? Let us know down below because I do love me some Super Hogs.